Welcome to the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. We are ready to have fun and spend some time with you. Oh my gosh, the pre-show to this is like, if you guys were privy to our conversations before the camera starts rolling, we would, you guys would, you would cancel us probably for at least a day, for at least an hour. We'd be put in punishment for an hour. Number one person in punishment would be Hilton George. Hilton George, how are you?
We're going to change the name of the show to Timeout.
Yeah.
We spent an hour just with our faces, our backs to the camera, looking in the corner for an hour.
That baby would be put in the corner, no question, right?
Featured on the BOP Plus.
There it is, BOP Plus. Sign up for it now. There you go.
Yes. How are you, Hilton?
Look, we come in every now and then with a show that, we kind of freestyling. Sometimes we all don't know this, but we have a format and we know we're going to talk about, and this is more of like just us getting together. So we're going to talk about stuff, but it's going to be a little bit more us and a little more of our dynamic, I guess, than what's in the headlines and the news. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I know, right? Because when we're impromptu, it seems to always come together. Christi Renee, ready to give you guys a tarot reading. Ready to,
you know what? You're not supposed to join in.
Hilton had to make fun of her curtains in the back. And look, she got one of them leopard print chairs too. Look at her. She done put us on timeout. You do look very like you could be Miss Cleo's cousin. If you wanted to give a tarot reading, I would take one. How are you?
I have no words. I have no words for y'all today. I don't know what we're doing, y'all. I don't know how I'm supposed to get through. I'm still adjusting. I've got Alexa, stop.
Alexa don't tell me what to do. She don't tell us what to do.
Oh my God.
I know. It's some craziness. Hey, how are you?
I'm in rare form. There's always something. I'm on respite. And so I am away, and this is what you get. You get lovely curtains. I wish I could show you the nature that I am surrounded by, the beauty of the land. It's the layout.
Send me some pictures.
But you can't do that. You can't do that with a government safe house, though. You can't.
You're right.
Because people use Google Earth and then they find you.
Right.
So you got to wait till after the trial, after you testify, after the mob go to jail. Then you can start geotagging again.
Yes, straight from witness protection.
I can't stand Hilton. Hilton gets on my last. I love him, but he get on my last nerve because it's too funny. It's too real.
That's okay. We've all been in witness protection at some point.
Yeah,
we are. It is all good. Life takes swift changes and swift turns.
Y'all ain't right.
And we are happy, Christi Renee, that you are here with us. We are happy. You're here.
Made it here with us. Even underground bunker Christi is with us. She's like, I don't care where y'all put me, FBI. I need Wi-Fi and my laptop.
Y'all. But I
know. She is in the Ukraine as we speak. Christi's hiding in a bunker in the Ukraine. No jokes aside, those people that are hiding in bunkers in the Ukraine, God bless you, Godspeed.
Yes.
That is real life situations happening in different parts of the world. Sudan is like real life situations are happening there. All of our prayers go out to everyone. Guys, we lost a legend today. We lost Harry Belafonte, who, he lived a long life, well into his 90s. This is a legend for the Black community. Obviously, he kicked down doors in the entertainment industry as a singer, an actor, performer, musician, but he also kicked down doors as an activist. I think that's one thing people didn't really know, at least this generation. They didn't know how involved he was with civil rights and how he was one of the people who would fund, Martin Luther King and fund different rallies. And, he was a very influential, very successful man. So for him to have even given money or lent his celebrity or, all of that, he deserves we need to celebrate his life. So BET, start putting together the tribute video. We lost Christi. I told you, FBI. Like we said FBI, and look, see, See, I mean,
she got a handler off camera coming in saying you can't say these keywords.
Right. You say this, you get shut down. You get shut down.
All right.
So
now, if we do see it, and we start, seeing people's names and stuff, and we'll be like, okay, who's Herman? Who's Herman? Who Herman calling?
Why Herman keep calling you?
Who's that?
Herman said
calling at this
through.
hour.
Why he coming through?
Herman said he out front, come to the door.
Herman said he coming through.
Your Amazon delivery man can tell you to come out and meet him. What's going on?
Please get back to Dayo. Come on, it's Belafonte time.
So
fine.
Hilton George, let's get ourselves out of the.
Where's Dana when I need her?
Dana's not here to save you. Dana is not here to save you.
I'm still
Hilton George. Let's talk about Harry Belafonte. Hilton.
Yeah, that was my man. Listen, okay, so what people don't know about Harry Belafonte is that as serious roles as he played back during the 50s and 60s, right? Musicals and black and white, dramas with amazing actors and stuff like that. He was actually really, really funny. So you may remember a movie called Uptown Saturday Night.
Yes.
Right? Where he was playing was it Geechee Dan Buford? A gangster.
It sounds funny just talking about it.
I mean, this brother, he took a crazy out of just this crazy uncle persona, merged it with the Godfather, put the little cotton swabs in those jowls and people don't even know that was Harry Belafonte. He was so dignified. He was like Sidney Poitier, where he was kind of in that lane of playing these very dignified and roles that you had to play back then before we really were able to get loose. But then got into the 70s, and he just played this hilarious character. And if you haven't seen Uptown Saturday Night, it's actually kind of hard to find. But it's also got Bill Cosby in it, so it may not be on a whole lot of broadcast or streaming channels.
It's hilarious.
But it is one of the funniest movies of the 70s. Got Richard Pryor in it. Yeah. It's got, there's so many actors. Isaac Hayes is in it. I mean, listen, I'm telling you. Talent. So that's really how I got introduced to Harry Belafonte as a kid, was through Uptown Saturday Night. And then started seeing him in a lot of his other roles. Now he's been quiet because the old man retired, kind of pulling back from the limelight. But his role in the civil rights movement he was the guy that activated Hollywood. So when you look and you see all of these like Marlon Brando and Paul Newman and people up at the mic standing alongside civil rights leaders speaking about the issues of the day and all that sort of stuff. He was the one that leveraged that. Like he was the one that brought Hollywood into, this political activism that went all the way through the Vietnam War till today. Like he was one of the first people to do this for almost any cause. Yeah. So he was very impactful, extremely talented, kicked open tons of doors. I don't think we would have the Hollywood entertainment landscape we do today without a guy like him who embraced his blackness culturally, but also his I think it was West Indies he was from, where he brought a lot of that musical influence to his performances and things like that. Really, really broke down doors at a time when it wasn't popular. So sad to lose him. He wasn't in some ill health. This is natural causes. This man is 100 years old.
Lived a full life.
Lived the fullest of full lives.
Right.
And he will be missed sorely.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad you brought that up because you're right. Nowadays we see actors and we see musicians and they're very political and they stand up for causes. And Harry Belafonte was really the person who got white Hollywood to participate and stand up. Christi, what are your thoughts? Because he was an icon. I know. He's like it's like a legend, one of our heroes,
Yeah, absolutely. I have been enamored with, Mr. Harry Belafonte for as long as, I go back. I didn't see that movie that Hilton just referenced. I didn't see that until maybe a few years ago. I may have seen it a long time ago, but I actually was able to soak it up and appreciate it a few years ago when I saw it and was like, where has this been all my life. Like, this is amazing.
It's like classic actors.
Yeah. But he definitely, I mean, it's an understatement to say that, you know, he was an activist. He, like you say, I mean, literally was like the founding father of an artist coming into their space and saying, but the world is more, we have to do things, we have to use our stage and our platforms. And he put so many things into motion, and he continually passed the baton, if you will, or left the charge to the rest of us that have a platform to basically, you know, make every attempt to save the world. And that's, you know, when you have a voice and you have power and and a presence. And he I was watching something earlier this morning. Of course, once the news, you get to see all these different things. And so I was watching that 2016, I think it was, when he got the an NAACP medal. And so in his speech, you know, he talked about how, yeah, he can sing and he can dance and he can act and he can write and create. But that's the biggest thing that he could do was on life stage, was to fight for others. And he did that. That was a different era that did those kinds of things. And it's interesting because we can talk about certain artists. Yeah, just as of recently, Lizzo is another one who I have to give her credit, and she definitely pulls from that blueprint that the iconic Harry Belafonte created of using your voice. She was told not to go to Tennessee. She said, why? Tennessee needs me. And then with all of the hysteria around, you know, drag queens, I mean, just the hate that comes with that. And she's, you know, she's tough enough to get up there and challenge everything. And so it's that fire that he has the torch. I do love there's a picture that I found this morning of him passing a baton to the beautiful and fierce fire Jesse Williams, actor and actress. And Jesse Williams has oftentimes been likened to Harry Belafonte, and he takes very good ownership of that role and that task. And I just am so thankful. He was sexy.
He was.
Cool. He was
now,
cool.
see, we was going real.
Listen,
15 minutes in.
Good, weren't we?
We was doing good. Yeah, y'all up here
iconic,
lusted after this man's immortal soul.
The iconic scene in Carmen Jones. The iconic scene in Carmen Jones where he kisses Dorothy Dandridge's from her feet up her leg. Like, that has been played out in various cinematic.
So anyone who's watching the BOP right now who's under 30 and maybe does not have a direct relationship with Harry Belafonte or his body of work, he the one your grandma was fanning herself about when she come back from the theater.
He was
Talk to your granny.
Jordan.
He was the first black sex symbol, because wasn't nobody lusting after Sidney Poitier. Okay, let's keep it real. He was lovely. He was a great actor. He was important. But this is what is called polite denial.
No.
This is like, no.
Sidney was sexy.
Sidney
was sexy in his own way.
He was so regal.
Regal, not sexy.
But that's sexy.
He was not. The sexy was this island brother who was singing and dancing and playing these leads that had a sexual tension with the female lead.
Well, you know what though? That was the beautiful part, because I think up until that point, had we seen two black people be in love and see the passion and see, like, that's why that movie was so groundbreaking, so revolutionary. And like she said, he was opposite Dorothy Dandridge. And I know you guys had got a version with like Beyonce. I forget who that one was when they tried to redo it. Go see the original Carmen Jones. You can find it. It's streaming somewhere. But yeah, that was the movie that we got to see for the first time, two black people in love, and the passion and the fighting and the loving and it was just everything, right? So Sidney Poitier was amazing, regal. Harry Belafonte was amazing. handsome. They were both regal, handsome, and that's one thing I miss. Like,
Yeah.
actors back then, the class,
Classic. It was classic.
It's like the way they treated women, the projects they picked. You know, nowadays, I mean, we get stuck in these ruts when something's like hitting. This is what they do. They do 10,000 projects that do this. Back then, I mean, they really were. You know, the amount of roles that were coming down the pipeline were far and few, but when they made something happen, they really were selective with what they chose, and they made it happen. What were you about to say, Christy? I can see those wheels turning.
Well, no, to your point, I was just going to say, if you all haven't seen, I think it's on Netflix, Hilton, you might know, Am I Black Enough? Is that black enough for you? It's a it's a documentary, and of course Harry Belafonte is in it, Sidney Poitier, and it just and a host of others.
Is it black enough for you? It's on Netflix.
Yep. From that beginning of, you know, us really getting finding space in that Hollywood setting. And it is incredible, but they do so much behind the scenes and stories that you've never heard before, and tales of, you know, whether it's, you know, victory or defeat. They give it to you, and they talk about whether and it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, of blackness in Hollywood and these iconic figures and moments that we came to love. But that's an excellent reference point, I think, to give us a little bit more, I would say, appreciation for those that, you know, come before us and pave the way. So
and that's what I think. That's what I think, like when someone like, you know, Harry Belafonte, when we lose one of our icons, if we do nothing else, I think that's when you have to take the moment to go watch these older films, to go do research, to actually, you know, appreciate, you know, our journey and how we've gotten here. It has been a lot of people that have blood, sweat, and tears just to pave the way to open doors for people like us to just podcast.
And that's not homework. Like it sounds like homework if you're under 30, but there's some really good movies and good stories being told, even though there's no CGI and there's no giant robots or Michael Bay explosions. You know, just some of these amazing movies that they were in, you know, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, you know, there's this whole, you know, library of movies that are just really entertaining, that aren't, you know, filled with like, you know, gossipy drama like reality TV, but really, really are methodically talking between actors and giving them a chance to perform. And, you know, if you can put yourself in the place of somebody watching this movie for the first time in the 50s or 60s, you can really, really, really enjoy some of these stories. And a lot of these stories involved actors like Harry Belafonte, who did so much for the genre and opened up so many doors for these stories to be told.
Yeah, I agree. And he's right. It is not homework. It is just pure entertainment. If you like good movies, if you like quality projects, check some of those movies out. Another thing that's been happening that has just put us in a place. Oh, it's been very difficult to watch this all unfold, and it's still very new. You guys know we are huge fans of Jonathan Majors. News broke a few weeks ago of a potential, you know, assault charge. I don't know what's going on. I've heard so many conflicting stories, and I know, like, usually in these situations, you're advised by your lawyers to stay quiet and we'll put out a statement, but we haven't heard anything really from his camp other than a few things from his lawyer. And it's been very upsetting. Now, I will be the first to say, you know, if a woman has been assaulted, if something has happened that has been, you know, terrible, and supposedly there's more than one person that has come forward, I stand solely in, you know, I want justice to be served if there is a crime that has been committed. But in the same breath, you guys know, Black men in Hollywood, Black men in a political circle, just anywhere that we have found success, we have been accused of things. And there have been times people are falsely accused of things to derail their career. And this one's been difficult to follow because, obviously something happened. He was with an ex-girlfriend or potential girlfriend at the time, and she supposedly reached for his phone because he was texting other women. I don't know. Something happened. But then there was just an arrest, and then there were all these other reports, and the lawyer said that, they've released a video of her at the club later that night. So if she was hurt, this possibly couldn't have happened. There have been other women to supposedly say, oh no, he's, assaulted me. There have been other people have come forward and said she's absolutely lying. There is no proof. So who knows what's going on? We actually reviewed Creed a few weeks ago. We reviewed Ant-Man and the Quantumania. I mean, we are huge fans. So I will say I am waiting. I'm going to actually do what we should all do, is wait and just assume someone's innocent until proven guilty. If something happens, I mean, we're going to find out. That's one thing you will know. If there is smoke, if there's enough smoke, we will find out if there is really a fire. But how do you guys feel about it? Because it has just been weird. Like I've seen so many things that contradict it, so many things that support it, and I'm just like, I hate that this is happening. Hilton, how do you feel?
We have to keep like that one foot in the space that you were talking about of like, okay, the details haven't all come out, and the story is moving slow. And this idea of accusation and guilty upon accusal and all of this sort of stuff plays into it, and it's hard because we're fans, but we also have to be mindful of the delineation between actors and their personal lives, and we can't allow one to kind of cloud our view of the other. Exactly. My thing is that this has been mishandled, I think, from a PR perspective from day one. And I think it's lent itself to a lot of the speculation that it's all we really have, right? If there is a video, which they said there was, from the car that exonerates him, like, why isn't that out in the media for people to see? If there is a full-blown retraction of the charges, then why is the New York court system or the New York criminal justice system still levying the charges against him and haven't dropped the charges yet? We just keep getting this sense that there's another shoe to drop, and it either doesn't drop, how or when, or isn't the shoe that we thought it was. And you see these things and I know, Karan, as somebody in show business, you probably have a sense of this that the average person does not. When your PR team and your agency drop you, that is a sign that there is something on the other side of this that we haven't seen yet. Because this is the $1 billion kid here, right? An agency choosing to drop Jonathan Majors. This isn't him getting fired from McDonald's as a part-time window employee. This is, as an agent, you are getting a percentage of potential billions of dollars over the next 10 years of roles that this actor is going to be playing. His PR team and all this, to have them just put out a statement that they have left him without a statement as to why or anything like that lends me to believe that they might have seen something or have been privy to some information that has not broken yet, that I think is going to severely impact, all of this. But the fact that it's still hanging out there is a problem. There's two battles to fight on this. There's the legal battle, and you can see that play out because this is all legal filings, Freedom of Information Act, everybody can see. But the PR battle, as to what is going on with your communications with the fans and the studios and all of that, is not playing out at the same pace as the legal piece. And we're no different than I think everybody watching, because we don't have any specific information. And, the thing that really strikes me and I guess concerns me is that this brother has been acting alongside some of the biggest names in producing, directing, acting, and media for the better part of a decade, if we really want to measure it out.
Yeah.
And not one person has come forward to say whether or not they know or have a sense of what's happening legally, but just to say this, whatever y'all see up here on this legal battle here is not the Jonathan Majors I know. The Jonathan Majors I know is this lovely, super talented, amazing person who I could never see as doing this. And I hope that he makes it through, Jussie Smollett had more people coming out for him for the most
Right.
obvious story in the world than we have for
Right.
Jonathan Majors. And I'm just like, all of these people, Black actors and Black activists and people who he has played, you know, and you're just like,
Oh,
nobody's got
awful.
anything to say.
Right.
So it's just a bad situation that on one hand, I hope his people can finally get ahead of and kind of like taking control of the narrative if there is something positive or some way to steer this that would shed more light. But at the same time, I'm also looking at the criminal justice system saying, look, somebody from the DA's office needs to come out and say, this is what we have. We are going to take this to a grand jury, you know, and kind of let us know, because the speculation is hurting him. And if it's a chance that it's hurting him in unfair ways, that you can't get back.
Right.
You know, you can't, if this plays out like we're talking right now, for the next 3 or 4 weeks of just getting drip, 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 bad news, and then ultimately he's exonerated, those roles don't come back.
Yeah.
You know, his image doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And I hope that if he is to ultimately be exonerated, that happens sooner rather than later, so that he doesn't damage, you know, himself as an actor in his career. But also at the same time, if he's guilty and there is truth to come out,
know that.
you know, he's got all these people who are supposed to be coming out saying this. Well, who are these people?
Right.
You know, anybody can say that. Like, why are we not seeing these people? Where are you, Gloria Allred? You're usually the face of this kind of thing. That you know, I mean, I'm joking,
but together, right?
But we're you know, we're all in our little bubbles trying to figure out what's going on with this brilliant actor, and you know, we want to get this, we want to close this loop for whatever, better or for worse. But being out here in our own imaginations is not a good thing for anybody.
I know. And Marvel, I'm sure, like, I mean, we know he's in quite a number of projects.
He is phase 5.
It is, exactly.
You don't have phase 5 without Kang. And in my opinion, you can't have Kang without Jonathan Majors.
And he's already shot. We already know Loki is shot. Like, Loki is finished. It is like finishing touches are happening. We know that. I mean, it is so many things. And so I know the executives are probably losing their minds. But you're right. We're kind of in this gray area where it's like, their text being released, and we don't know if it, like, you know, it's just all so confusing. Chrissy, how do you feel about it? Because we have been, I mean, it's just tough when you see it's a tough situation if it ends up that he's guilty. It's a tough situation if it ends up that he's innocent of this.
Right.
Like, it is all bad.
Right. Shoot. I feel a lot of what both of you have already said. You know, I on the one hand, it is, I mean, it's painful because we are such big fans, but it's not just about the fandom. It's about the support and the celebration and appreciation of celebration for and appreciation of this young Black male actor being, you know, thrust into this space and occupying it with his civil rights sexiness, you know, and his energy and his frequency. Like, you know, he's not the typical, but for our overall community, he represents that, right? So you have that on one hand. So of course we do want to sit back and watch this thing kind of unfold, and in hopes that whatever the case may be, whatever, you know, come what may, there is not only, you know, justice for whichever way it goes, right? But there's therapy, and there's, you know, help, and there's retribution of sorts, and there's, you know, some progress, some forward motion progress, so that this can be something that, you know, people can recover from, and and pivot and be able to go on and do some other things. You know, I also hear what Hilton is saying, that it is bizarre that no one is coming out giving so much praise, although I've seen a few things. It's not a lot, like you say. I don't know, the whole Jesse Smollett thing again, that shit is still so confusing to me.
That was like the buffoonery of 2020, or like, it was
I
still what is happening? I can't believe that still happened. Like, that actually happened.
I said, which is again bizarre. It was like just this big giant, shit show. But here we are in something that is a little more serious and also a little more relatable, I guess. But I also don't see anybody run into the mic to talk about how horrible he is either. So I'm kind of grateful for that. And maybe everybody, I don't know. I it could be some, let's wait, because they might have something that can just completely exonerate him from this. That's really honestly my hope.
Yeah.
But and also at the same time, we know the justice system, and it don't function the same for everybody. And I also know that there is a real thing called the sunken place, and that many of folk are sucked into that vortex, a lot. And damn, I just wish I could get that boy surrounded with some, and by boy I mean like in the most loving way. I mean that, like in the most endearing way. That man, I wish I could get him a friend like John Boyega and to give him some how you move forward from this. It don't fix all the problems, but I think we deal with things differently when it's kind of considered in-house. And so without me saying too much, because I feel like I'm talking in code, but I got
no. Look, my 23andMe is hearing everything you're saying. I got you.
That's what I got you too. Because think about this. This is what it is for us as a Black community. When we do right, we're going to celebrate you. When we do wrong, we need to surround you and help you get the help you need. Yeah. So whatever way this comes out, I understand what you're saying, and it's one of those situations where far too often, Hollywood may write you off, this may write you off, that might write you off. Yeah. But as a community, if we could stand up and celebrate you, then we can stand up and lift you up also. Yep. Yep, so absolutely. That's where we kind of that's how we should think of it. And when you said this boy, he is every Black man is one of our boys. It's that's one of our,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember seeing a meme where it showed a young, cute little Black boy, and then it showed an older, Black man or an adult Black man, and it said, "When did this little cute boy turn into a criminal to you? Like, when does it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like society has already put all Black men, I feel, behind the 8 ball. So for us as a community, I know a lot of people don't understand it, that we're even on the fence, but it's like, we're on the fence because we have to protect each other. We've had to do this throughout history. So it's one of those things where obviously we want justice to be served if there was a crime committed. And thankfully these days, if something happened in that taxi cab, 90% there is probably a video. There's probably some footage. There's probably someone, there's something that captured something. There's so many cameras in this world
corroborate that. Yeah.
That can corroborate it, can clear it, can do whatever. This is the thing. So hopefully, like Hilton said, we get some footage, some information that, if we were able to get the footage of Solange and JC in that elevator, there has to be some footage.
There's some receipts.
Of what happened. Yeah. And if that's the case, like you said, if he's fully exonerated, then his lawyers, his publicist needs to put that out. I know they released
it. It need to come out on TMZ.
Yeah.
We need to see it.
Well, and that they released the text messages because she messaged him afterwards and was like, I didn't mean for you to get, arrested. I'm going to clear this up. This is not going to happen. But that could very well also be a victim who is afraid. And, because women who are in a violent situation don't always react, they will try to protect their abuser. So who knows what that is? But like you said, if there's a video, somebody leak it so that we just know how to handle it. But God, it just sucks.
It is a shit show, and it's bad. It's bad not just for him, but it's bad for the industry. It's bad for us in general because it puts us in an awkward place for all the reasons that you just said, Karen.
Yeah.
On one hand, we want to protect our own, But at the same time, we also recognize that there are many of people, especially as a man, I have to recognize and do that a lot of brothers that I might call friends or homies or brothers or whatever, you know, have issues.
Yeah.
And are not right. And are not, you know, even though you and I as individuals have these positive relationships, doesn't mean that you're not doing bad over here on this other space.
That's
I
true.
can't see.
Exactly.
And so we don't want to,
so all could be true.
Yeah. And so we are kind of frozen in place because we're not being given, you know, the narrative that allows us to wrap our head around what happened. Because we all have experience with domestic abuse, secondhand, firsthand, and third hand. Right. And we know how these dynamics play out depending on who is seeing it and from what angle. And we're trying to change that as a society. And I think that we know also that we've been wrong before. Like we've condemned brothers and put brothers on death row and put them in jail. And ultimately the DNA says something or somebody recants their testimony.
Yeah.
20 years later, they come out, you know, and we also recognize that. So I'm like, somebody on his team need to start getting in front of the microphones, because it's not what they're doing right now ain't working.
Yeah. It's weird. You know, I said this before. This reminds me of, God, I love this young Black actor too, Nate Parker.
Yeah.
And his story was somewhat similar. And again, they look like they remind me of brothers, these two. And it's like, what are we doing? What is this? Every 10 years we get these, you know, amazing actors that look like this, that they are the, you know, poster board for Black male. And I don't know what it is. I really hope that it's I want him to be I want him to be good and right.
Yeah. I just want I want everything. Like if it were, you know, it's like at the end of the day, you just hope nothing like this would happen to any woman. You hope nothing like this would happen to any man.
There, done that.
You wouldn't want anyone to be hurt. You wouldn't want anybody to be wrongly accused. You wouldn't want anybody's career to be affected.
Right.
Like it's just all a terrible situation. And it can't be, it's like it's one of those tricky conversations. It can't be just brushed under the rug. Like this is some stuff that you're right. Like it seems like every, 10 years, something like this comes up. And I know like Nate's situation was different, but it was just all bad. It was all bad. And his career was drastically affected by that.
Yes.
Like it was, and from what I understand, he went to court for that and was exonerated from rape. The evidence didn't say that he did that.
His career never recovered.
Yeah.
Because it came up and because that young woman, unfortunately, she took her life. It was something that could not be, his career was just not salvageable. At least I know that he directs now and he's kind of behind the scenes, but as far as him being a leading man actor, it's like he just could not come back from that. So it's one of those situations where it is just no bueno.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's no bueno.
And you know what? Isn't this weird? I'm sorry. Isn't this weird though? Look at the polarizing experience we're getting with this. We're on first he does this bromance photo shoot and gets under attack. You know, Michael B. Jordan isn't under attack, but he is. And then now we're at this point, and this is all in the span of like a couple months. Like that is just so, it's so bizarre. Again, I oftentimes feel like
that's why I think we're in the place that we're in, because we felt like we were like we felt like why are y'all picking on this man? Like we
were having to defend.
He's a trash, like he's a gift. Like
the real crazy part of that is that it goes back to what we were talking about, Karen, where because there is a lack of a hard narrative, that gap of knowledge allows for other voices to come in and imagine. But what I noticed, and I commented on this on social media, I was like, you notice that the brothers that came after Jonathan Majors for being, emasculating Black men and being effeminate and all of this stuff because of that, and the Vogue, or was it Vanity Fair photo shoot?
We got one of them, Vanity
Fair. Right. The combination of those two things, he was emasculating Black men and da. Those same voices turned around and was patting him on the back and supporting him when they thought he beat a white woman. And I was like, wait a
what is
minute
that?
now. Like,
Ugh.
what is your definition of masculinity? If he
It's so
is the
skewed.
problem, he is what's wrong with
Yeah.
black masculinity in the world on one day. And then when he gets accused of beating a woman, then all of a sudden y'all are like, nah, black man, this and that. I'm like, your view of masculinity is being shown.
Yeah.
And you're like, how you say your slip is showing.
Yeah.
And I was like, some of the same people that was tearing him down for being emasculate and
Yeah.
effeminate or whatever they called it, were thought that this was some demonstration of masculinity, being accused of hitting a woman. And we're coming out in support and writing these think pieces. I was like, scroll 4 posts ago, you was ripping this brother down, and now
we're celebrating this, and
like,
we're celebrating
what
this.
is going on in Andrew
The
Tate's
horns.
internet where y'all are feeling like these two thought processes can coexist in the same brain?
Yeah.
And then they trying to take the rest of us along for the ride. And I'm kind of like,
yeah,
like,
no, thank
is
you.
the only thing
thank
y'all
you.
are supporting
I'll get off.
is the fact that he supposedly hit somebody or hit a woman? Is that the thing that made y'all turn your view? So it says so much about us, how we react to ourselves in these difficult situations. We're reflecting ourselves off of this situation because we're not getting, any information from him, and the story is not playing out.
Yeah.
And that also is unfortunate and destructive.
Yes.
But imagine, I don't know if anyone here and anyone listening has ever been so compounded and piled on by so much, and you're trying to fight for your life. And have you ever been so confused and so bewildered in a situation that you can't even find the words, you can't even formulate a sound out of your body because it's so like, if in fact, if there were some mistakes made and all of that, and you just think, holy hell, like this is my whole livelihood now down the drain, I made a mistake, if that's the case, or if it's what the hell, I'm completely like, that ain't even what happened, and it's so overwhelming. Like, either way, it's just that type of bondage that you can find yourself in is incredibly damaging. And I just hope, again, for everybody's sake, I hope we get some clarity. I hope it clears up, and that he can, everybody can come back from this.
Right.
I hope everybody can come back from this. Jeez.
Whew, I know. Oh, okay. So, guys.
That was deep. That terrible.
Was so
Make
deep.
me laugh.
But you know what it is? It's like, we've been here before. I mean, you think about the Kobe Bryant situation, when all of that happened with Kobe and the world turned, and then he went to court, he was exonerated. Then he went to doing all these great things in his career, and became a champion, became someone people just revered. And when he died, people brought that up. I mean, Gayle King brought that, like, she almost got uninvited to the barbecue because it was like, what are you doing? Like, this man was exonerated, and he has had a whole life's work, and none of that has ever come back. Yeah, and he's dead now. So it's like, how are we talking about this? Why didn't you call for an interview when he was alive so that he could have said, look here, Gayle, like he could have checked you, or at least had an opportunity to defend himself. Like, it was just so awful. So that's where it's like where it puts us as a community in a slippery place. Like, it's like a slippery slope for us, because you don't want to obviously defend, potential bad behavior. We don't want to be a champion of that, but you also don't want to be a champion of someone who's falsely confused. And even if you are exonerated, you're still attacked. It's like, we aren't playing those kind of games, and not everybody can be Kobe Bryant and like resurrect their careers and and go through a lifetime of as if that was just a bad chapter. We don't often get to have a bad chapter. Black men and women don't ever get to have a bad chapter. We don't get to be
a bad day.
We can't even be bad. We can't even be like mad. Otherwise, you're like, oh, she got attitude. Oh, she and it's like, what do you mean? I'm doing exactly what anybody else would do in the situation. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, what's funny?
What's funny? I don't know. What's funny? So get this.
I mean,
we are going to MomoCon in May. We will all be in the house. We are going to do a panel, and we want all of you to come and join us, because that panel we're going to actually do live. We're actually going to do a show live. We will be together. And we're going to be at BLERDCon in July. Yes, we will all be there. We're going to do the same thing. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about this year, is that, the BOP is going on the road. So we know of 2 dates for sure that we will be together, that we're going to discuss something cool, something fun, something geek, something blurred. And, sometimes
fabulous,
sometimes we have to have these serious conversations, because I feel like, we're blurs, we're part of a community, we're part of a family hood, and it can't all be superheroes and action films. We sometimes got to have these conversations where hopefully we grow, and hopefully we learn, and hopefully we celebrate icons like Harry Belafonte. But yes, okay, so MomoCon. Where we getting ribs? Is that on the agenda?
I don't want to give too much rib information away, because I don't want a whole bunch of people crowding our spot. We got a secret spot.
They might take
and then we be like, oh, we heard about this from the BOP, and the BOP don't get no check from that.
Right.
And we in line. We don't even get the front of the line for that.
And they said we out of ribs.
We out of ribs because y'all talked about us.
We out of ribs. I will, I'll protest. I'll tear that motherfucker up if they out of ribs.
I need to talk to Fat Matt.
I am showing up. See, you're the one. See, but they don't know what day we going. They don't know what day we going. They don't know. Because I'm about to buy us. I'm about to buy us BOP ribs bibs so that we can go there.
Wow.
So that we
you said, look, you say my trash bag, fashion was not hitting, so we got to make that.
It was great, but we're taking it up a notch.
Make it sexy.
We're going to
be
show
on
up
brand.
in our Waffle House slides and our BOP ribs bibs. Say that 10 times fast. Say that 10, and we are going to show up.
Wow, we're going to get sued by 4 brands, because we're going to be running around misrepresenting everybody's brand.
We will on BOP Plus open up our store where you can buy your own BOP ribs bib, your merchandise, so that you can eat a rib properly. I mean, it's like
now, for those of you who don't know, who are watching the BOP and don't know where MomoCon is, in Atlanta, right? So it's at the World Congress Center, and MomoCon it's an anime, it tags itself as an anime con, but it really is more pop culture, because there's a lot of different fandoms there. Lots of artists, lots of panels, lots of guests, voice actors. Karan Ashley is going to be there, among others. As if you go to their website, you'll see. But they do some amazing stuff, and they're like 25 years old. And there's like 60,000 people there this past year. And Atlanta is just a fun place to go. There's lots of really great things to do at night, places to eat. It's a chocolate city. So if you're not in Atlanta and you're wondering, oh, could I go and do that? Absolutely. You come out, just get your badge, come on through. It's all access. So if you buy a badge to MomoCon, you can do pretty much everything. And we're gonna have a booth. I think we're gonna be near like the cosplay area, and we'll show you.
Shows up with a DJ. That's all I gotta say.
We'll have music.
Shows up with a DJ. I will obviously show up,
and we'll battle
Rangers. Yeah,
and we'll battle anybody that tries
any other DJ.
He will battle.
We be turning up in the space. We like to bring a little bit of the blurred experience to the nerd space. And so we have the music and the cosplay, and we're grooving and creating a vibe. So it's a little oasis in the middle of the.
We've already asked. We said, look, there's only one requirement, and the requirement is that Karan Ashley be next to BLERDCon. Like, that was in my contract. Look here. And so, we will be right by each other. Christi and I will break out in song and dance at any given moment.
And I'm ready this year. Because y'all remember BLERDCon, I'm sorry, not BLERDCon, but MomoCon was my very first con ever last year. And I
You've done at least 8 cents.
I've done more than that. Way more than
that. She cashed in her 10, V card 15. At MomoCon. So it's a special place in her heart.
Cherry popped, honey. Cherry.
Ew, it was so fun. Yeah, we had a ball. And what I love about it is that it happens to be over Memorial Day weekend. Mm-hmm. So a lot of y'all are already off. Right. And you're probably wondering what you might do with that weekend. And if you're within driving distance, it's easy. If you fly in, it's easy because it's Atlanta, it's a hub airport. Only real difficult thing is like just trying to pick where you're going to stay in case you want to walk or, you know, all that sort of stuff. But even if you got to walk, even if you got to Uber, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be so much fun. There's going to be parties. There's going to be music. And as you heard us say, there's a lot of food. But listen. This is where if you got like blood pressure or cholesterol issues, and all this stuff, Atlanta is not gonna help you out. It's not gonna meet you halfway.
Bring your blood pressure pills.
Bring your pills. You might be popping them like chiclets. You'd be like, because listen, I'm telling you, everything in Atlanta is just a little bit blacker. The blackness is turned up.
Yes.
Right. So when you get the sweet tea, I know you used to go to Pizza Hut. And they give you the sweet tea, and it's like, oh, well, that's all right.
Ooh,
this tea gonna hurt your teeth. Like instant cavity. Like it's
like I order a Diet Coke and they look at me funny. Like it's like I cussed them out or something. Like,
and don't order unsweetened tea. That's an insult.
Yeah, they like we ain't got that. They don't even have it.
On you if they have it. But even if they don't, if you ask for it, they were like
soul food. Okay,
let's go do soul food this time. I'm gonna see.
We can do both. We're gonna be there a couple nights.
I want ramen. I want soul food, ramen and ribs.
Listen, and this time
soul food, ramen, ribs. Soul food, ramen,
I'm going
ribs.
To parties.
Oh,
yo,
you going to the party? So 9:30, you're not gonna be on, and you're gonna have some 5-hour energy.
I'm gonna put her in an Uber.
That's her.
I'm gonna put you in an Uber, and I'll be like, I'll see you when I see you.
Okay.
Here's the key to the room.
Look, what time I need to show up the next morning.
We have different, like, this is the thing. Christy and I have different con experiences because Christy goes, she's having fun. She's helping me. She works hard. She helps me. But like, I'm like on the moment I walk in, Aisha Campbell shows up. And Aisha, the Yellow Power Ranger, has to connect with people all day. So I'm talking and talking and talking. And the most I have is energy for dinner and conversation. And then I'm like, by the clock strikes 10, I'm like, I'm kind of good. I don't want to talk to nobody.
So we got something
Hilton, you got to take her to the rave, Hilton.
Christy, listen, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
I have people in my crew like Karen who the key is don't go back to the room.
I can never
stop.
Don't
go back to the room. I
told her.
You just got to figure out.
Wait. Y'all have to understand though. I can go back to the room. And
I know you can.
Okay, yes, she can.
Yeah, I can't. I can't stop.
So we got to figure out like, okay, how do we do this so that we go into the con to get soul food and then hit the club. So it's all, you know, the Aisha Campbell's turned up. All the lights are on.
Yeah.
Because the minute that temper posturepedic matrix is in front of her,
all
the stuff starts shutting down.
I'm done.
All the systems start.
When that shower run, that shower run and them lashes come off, baby, she is
like it just
done.
And see, look, black people have ways of telling you that they're not coming out, right? So you be texting, hey, Karen, we at the party, where you at? And she'll be like, how long y'all gonna be there? And then you're like, I'm not coming. How long y'all gonna be there means I'm not coming, right?
All over there.
Yeah.
Who all with you?
Who's with you? Yeah, that's the best question.
Y'all got a booth? Can I sit down? Can I put where do I put my coat? Right?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like but see, this is your 15th con. This is like my 15,000th con. I realize I've been doing cons for 15 years. And so it's been like con. Like literally, guys, I was at a con this past week and they had a massage therapist there. And they were like, yeah, you know, just set, you know, pick a time. I was smart enough to pick the time. I ended at 5 and my appointment was at 5:30. It was a full on, like she massaged my eyelashes off. I came out like this. I came out like my ashes were like in my hand. Yeah. And so y'all know if I even have one remote second of just relaxation or just I sit down, I think that's what happens when we go to dinner. I'm sitting there for an hour and a half, and I'm just sitting there, and then the tiredness sets in.
Yeah. No, listen, you deserve it. You listen.
I'll try one night, but I ain't making no promises.
I'm gonna say
it's like a game time decision on whether I'll come with y'all.
Don't nobody put out the energy. I've been to enough. Spent all last year, doing several, and I have been able to take account of what I see other people like Karan Ashley doing, and don't nobody work like she does. And we work, and I love us working together.
I like to touch everyone. I like to talk to everyone.
She is so fully engaged and so intensely connected to the moment, and which again guides how if she on 10, I'm gonna be on 12, because I'm like, buy all this shit, buy all this shit. So she works so hard. She's right. She has to be before she even leaves. I mean, just the packing up of all of the merch and everything she has to do, all the arrangement, everything. So listen, when you want to go home, I ain't mad at you at all. I'm just saying.
She never guilts me either. I'll be like,
ever.
No, because look, remember, MomoCon is 4 days, and the crowds are in the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And oftentimes at Momo, you're the only ranger in the building. So you're the lightning rod. It's not like Ranger Stop where you can diffuse the fandom, around everybody. It's like you are the one. So all the Ranger fans, they done got dressed up. They stand in line. They are scared. I have seen. Listen, we all are so comfortable with Karan, and because we know her, but it's so interesting to see in the convention and the fandom experience how many people. Yeah, like we'll be sitting there talking. It'll be like the three of us sitting there talking, and there'll be somebody like 13 feet away, just kind of standing there, like not sure if they should come over, just shell shocked. And Karan will be like, "Oh, sweetie, come on over here," and they'll be like, "Oh," and even people I know will be like this. They'll be like, "Oh man, I don't know if I should go over and say hi." Like, she's actually here for you to come over and say. That is the reason she's here is for you to go over and say hi. The whole booth says, "Come say hi." She's not like at the bank, trying to do some transaction.
I'm not eating my soul food.
Right. She don't have a rib hanging out her mouth or something like that. But she's literally at her table
come and say hi at that
doing
moment.
this.
Right.
This is the time,
Yes,
but people do get intimidated.
That's
but here's the thing. I think this will be even more fun at BLERDCon because everything is all self-contained. So we're not like, BLERDCon doesn't like have that hard shut off where like, okay, now you got to leave your table and then go off and do something else. It's going to run. And then the after parties and all the events that happen after 7 just kind of happen. And they're just right across the floor from like where you were usually set up. It's like right there. So there's no trip in an Uber and going over here and there. And then with the food trucks, if you're going to get food, you're like, 30 paces to eat, so we might get to see more of Karan Ashley in that zone at BLERDCon, maybe than we would at
I might get
Momo.
on stage and do this.
She's been turning up a little bit lately. So
I've been turning up. I was at MegaCon and I actually went out, and Walter Jones is my witness. I went out. I was at.
You was with Walter. Oh, okay.
He was like.
She was with the Pied Piper. That brother.
He is like he's the salsa dancing partner.
You talk about keeping up with Karan Ashley.
Yeah. I only lasted an hour though. I was like, okay, good night, bro. Good night, bro.
Yeah, all right. That's enough.
I came, we started, I bounced, he stayed.
Even I don't think I can hang with Walter E. Jones. He's a lot. No. I can do a little bit longer than you, but I can't do that much. Yeah.
Yes. Huge congratulations to my Power Ranger family. Once and Always came out this past couple weeks, and we were number 3 on Netflix out of the whole United States. And yes, so we are very happy that you guys are so happy to see the special.
Yes. We haven't watched the special.
I know.
The special.
We
That's on the next episode.
Watch. Yeah,
look,
and maybe I'll get some of them to come and talk because
the nostalgia mainlining. It's just like it just washes over you, and it's so endearing, and
it really is. It really, really, really is.
I watched so well in this.
Very thoughtful episode. Yes. So. Yeah, and it was shot prior to. I mean, obviously, this episode was dedicated to Thuy Trang, who we lost in like 2000. I think it was 2001. in a terrible car accident. And so it was like overdue. She deserved an episode. You know, she got the party started as the Yellow Ranger. And so I loved the idea of what they came up with and the whole thing. But this was shot prior to us losing Jason Frank. So it was like, we knew there was going to be a tribute. We didn't know what it was. And we were able to see it probably like a month before it came out. And we were like you, we lost it. It was so touching. And yeah, so if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's good old Power Ranger nostalgic fun. They were able to bring a lot of us back, and you felt that same way you felt in the 90s. And Walter Jones was amazing in it. Since we were talking about Walter, he was amazing.
I was like, this brother's in his 40s, jumping around like
he's in his 50s.
He's in his
50s now.
He's like 53, I believe. And Walter Jones is like,
See, I done took years off the brother because he breakdanced.
Because he looks he looks like he's in his 30s. Like, what is he? His motto is Zach don't crack. And
Zach
like
don't
for
crack.
real. He is, he was amazing. Everyone was amazing in it.
Yeah.
But he for me, it was so cool to see him like walk in front and say, it's morphin' time. Like it was just like, I screamed in the theater when that happened. We were watching it next to each other. So yeah, but guys, watch it. We're at the end, guys. We're at the end. This is it. I know the time flies when you're having fun. I know, gosh, but we'll be back. You guys tune in for some more, the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. You know, we're here every Tuesday. We want to hang out with you. We want to discuss things with you. If you guys ever have topics, send them in. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and we will give you our unsolicited opinions.
Right. The Waffle House episode is pending. We're going to do it.
Yes. We need to do a waffle. We need to be in a Waffle House and do a whole episode.
2 blocks. There's 2 blocks from
right
MomoCon.
there.
MomoCon.
Right there.
Left.
Like, guys, I think we figured out what we're going to do, where the after party is. We have figured out where the
silverware. It's so authentic.
Oh my God.
I just want them cheese eggs and that chicken breast. Okay, so guys, tune in next time for the BOP the BLERD official podcast. We love you. We mean it. Bye.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the BOP the BLERD official podcast.